oftentimes a lot of black models would go to open calls and straight up they would get told, like, we already have enough black models. We're not even looking for black models. What other career can you say, we don't want black anything here? And then that person, normal. It goes, okay.
Yeah. We are officially entering season 2 of How She Did It. Guys, I can't believe it's been an entire year since I started this show. I cannot express how much gratitude I feel for the support that you guys show me on every single episode. I just want you guys to know that I see every single like, every single comment, every single share, every single view. Each one counts, and each one is a step towards furthering this show's impact. Your encouragement is what keeps me going, and I'm so excited to keep sharing our stories and to keep motivating women to chase their dreams. Now enjoy season 2, episode 1 of How She Did It. In this episode, I interview Ariona Beninato. She is the founder of a casting company in New York called Collective Casting, which focuses on models and talent of color. She comes on to discuss her journey to success as not only an entrepreneur, but a model too. I know I'm curious, so let's find out how she did it. Ariana, thank you so much for coming in today. I'm so excited to talk with you today. You are such an inspirational force in this industry, so I'm very excited
so much.
to hear your insight. Yes.
Thank you.
I saw that it was your birthday recently. Happy belated.
Thank you so much.
Of course. What do you think is changing for you as you enter this new decade, this new chapter of your life, both career-wise and mentally?
I think the biggest thing is probably boundaries. More than ever, I feel like I'm not afraid to set those boundaries. I'm not afraid to say, actually, this is not working for me. You know, so I think that a lot of times in my 20s, I was sort of scared. I almost didn't have any boundaries. I was just in hustle and grind mode, trying to do whatever, you know. But now as I get older, I feel like establishing those boundaries have made my life have a huge difference, and so many life changes have happened. And I also want to take care of myself better too. I feel like in my 20s, I was just working so much that I kind of put myself on the back burner. And when you hit 30, your knees start hurting, and then you're like, okay, I have to take care of myself now. So
like,
I've been like,
serious.
I'm like, okay, let me work out, let me go to the sauna, let me get a skincare routine, let me get all my planning and routines together so I can, you know, be ready for any opportunities that, you know, this next decade might bring. So
I love that. That makes me excited because you know, a lot of people make turning 30 such a negative thing. It's like I feel like life just only gets better from there.
Oh yeah, I feel like I'm just getting started. You know, I moved to New York City when I was 19, 20, so I was figuring it out for a long time. You know, so I really feel like turning 30 is like the start of a new chapter of a new book that I've never read before, and I'm just kind of ready to receive and stay gracious through it all and be able to take what I've learned in my 20s and actually live life and not like live in survival mode as much.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
So you started Collective Casting in 2017. So can you tell us what even goes into starting a casting company? Like where did you even begin?
Well, I actually started off as a model, and I was a model for a long time. I've been a model for about 15, 16 years now. And I got my start back in Ohio. And in Ohio, I was usually cast as the token black girl. And it honestly would always rub me the wrong way. And, you know, at first, you know, modeling, it was my dreams. So naturally, I was excited to be on set, you know. And you make it to the destination, you're like, wait, I'm the only black person here all the time? This isn't normal. I can't even normalize this. This is not normal to me. And I refuse to be in spaces where I'm the only one there and I have to represent for the entire diaspora of African people. And I'm like, this isn't even proper representation. This is almost silly to me. Like this is not diversity. And just me being here is not diversity. Especially as a light-skinned woman with curly hair. Often those are the women, the only types of people that the agencies would represent. And I noticed that as a young model, I was only in my early 20s when I was like, you know what, this has to change. And this is during the time of George Floyd and the beginning of the Black Lives Matter movement. I mean, I'm sorry, not George Floyd, but Eric Gardner, Philando Castile, Trayvon Martin. And so I'm feeling all of these things. I'm seeing all these things. And I'm like, yo, we really need representation. And, you know, being in New York City, it's very inspiring, but it's also very intimidating. Naturally, I was very intimidated with the idea of starting my own agency. But honestly, it was really with the support of my friends that are like, no, you're in these spaces. You have access to these opportunities. And I naturally was already helping out my friends for free. A lot of my friends like were models themselves. And I'd be like, oh, well, my client that I'm working with, they need more models. Here, just email this person, just email that person. Naturally, I was just helping out a lot of people. And my friends were like, no, this is a business. And I was like, no, I don't have that many connections. Like, I don't know that many people. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never had an agency before. I've never been to an internet agency before. I've only worked for agencies as a model before, you know? But they're like, no, you've got something here. Like, no one else is representing us. Like, they won't even give us the opportunity to be seen. They won't even give us the chance to even try at their agencies, you know? And it came from a place of, even in New York, this was a time in 2014, 2015 where diversity was not a trend yet. That was not a trend to the mainstream media yet. So oftentimes a lot of black models would go to open calls and straight up they would get told, like, we already have enough black models. We're not even looking for black models.
That's crazy.
I would go to castings and there would be like no ethnic models on the castings. And a lot of models normalize their own discrimination. And we would just go, oh, okay, they're not looking for us this time. And we would move on to the next casting. And then it got to the point where
deep. We normalize our own discrimination.
We normalized it. What other career can you say, we don't want black anything here? And then that person, normal. It goes, okay. That's almost a mental disease.
No,
like that's not normal,
that's not
know?
Normal.
And I realized a lot of models of color have normalized us being discriminated against. And a lot of those spaces are straight up oppressing people of color and black models. A lot of the top agency spaces. So I was randomly one day on set for a Spike Lee show. She's Gotta Have It. I was a background extra.
I love that show.
And that was the first set that I had seen in New York City where this was a predominantly set with predominantly people of color. And it inspired me so much that I was like, see, it doesn't have to just be all white. It does not have to just be we are tokenized in these spaces. It doesn't have to be just one or two of us. We can all be here, and we all deserve to be here. And we all deserve to be paid to be here in these spaces. And the last open call that I tried, this was probably in 2016, I went to the agency. This is at the point where I had booked several campaigns in my career, several commercials. I had booked movie roles. I had booked so much work that I was like, oh, there's no way they're going to deny me. I have so much work, like, my portfolio is stacked. That lady looked at me right in the face and she said, well, we already have a black model that looks like you, so we don't need any more. And I looked at her and I broke down right in the agency. I'd never done anything like this. I literally just started crying right in front of her, like, I have heard this so many times. And I looked to my left and there's the whole agency board and it's all tall, skinny, blonde girls and maybe two black models.
You don't have enough of those?
There's plenty of those, always. And I'm like, why are we given this small space? And why am I always trying to be in these spaces? And why am I always looking for their acceptance? Why am I trained to submit to their acceptance and let that value me, let that define my value in my space that I love to do? I love modeling. Why am I letting people that oppress me define me? You know, and I just had a whole awakening moment where I was like, you know what? If they're not going to represent us and no one else is going to, I will do it. Because it's got to get done. And sometimes black women, you got to give them a job because that's how it's going to get done. And I feel like when God called me to start my business, I really felt like, okay, I'm nervous. I literally, anything you can think about is, when it comes to starting a business, I already told myself. Anything negative, I already told myself I couldn't do it. I already told myself I don't have the same capacity as the Wilhelmina models or IMG models. I don't have the same team. At some point, you just have to jump off the cliff and go for it. And that's literally what I did. I said, well, these girls aren't going to wait. We cannot wait for IMG and Wilhelmina and Ford and all these top agencies that were not representing black models before get on board. You know, and I was like, I have to just do this on my own. So I literally one day decided, you know, I'm going to start my business. So that's how Collective Casting started.
I love that.
Through a lot of pain, but sometimes it's essential. And I'm honestly very grateful.
Is born from pain.
I'm really grateful for those experiences because I can help out other girls and prevent them from going through those same experiences that I did. So
Speaking of diversity, that makes me think of the entire Lululemon controversy that went on recently.
Yes.
For those who don't know, Chip Wilson, the founder and former CEO, right, of Lululemon, he came out and basically said that he doesn't like the whole diversity and inclusivity thing that Lululemon is basically advocating. And he basically just said that the models look, what did he say? He said that the models look unhealthy, sickly, and not inspirational, and that the brand should make it clear that they don't want certain people shopping their clothes. So what did you make of this, Ariana?
Mr. Chip, he is a martyr for a lot of corporate America, because a lot of people in corporate America actually have those same exact beliefs as him. And a lot of times as an agent, we have to convince them to unlearn that whole programming. I totally disagree with his statement. And I think it's really ironic because in modeling in the early 2000s, and even now, eating disorders and body dysmorphia was a huge issue. So many girls were size 0s and size 2s. I mean, even myself, when I first started, plenty of agents told me I need to lose 20 pounds and be a size 0, or gain 20 pounds and become a plus size model. And I was like, this isn't making sense. Yeah, so we used to idolize this idea of being a size 2 with abs. That's equivalent to like a small young child. Why are we idolizing that? You know, it's all programming, you know, and I disagree. I think that people of all sizes can be very healthy. And a lot of people of all sizes are a lot more in shape than people, you know, it's a spectrum, you know. But I feel like it's really sick. But those are his true colors. And it's really unfortunate that there's people still, even post 2020, that will publicly say these things. I know. You know,
without shame.
Without shame and without consequence, because they know that those counterparts in the industry,
they're not going to do anything.
They're going to be like, okay, yeah, he said it.
Yeah.
Our CEO said it too in a meeting. No one knows. You know, like so. I feel like a lot of times it's up to the consumers, because I think a lot of people don't see social media was really a canon for Black representation. And it really brought to light the need for representation in those spaces because of social media. And that was because of the consumer, because of us. No company just started going, hey, we have Fenty Beauty, we have Savage Fenty. We've been people our whole lives. She just got started a few years ago, you know? So it's like a lot of the people are saying, this isn't right. You know, and it actually hurts me, because I even saw on TikTok girls saying things about the former Victoria's Secret models, how nowadays the new models, there's no fantasy allure, there's no whatever, there's no glam, it's not the same thing. And it's disheartening, because that tells a guy like Chip that his marketing is working.
Exactly.
His marketing convinced you that that's what we should aspire to be, a size 0, size 2.
Right.
In bra and panties, what?
Yeah.
I'm a grown woman, I'm 30. I don't want to be a 0. I like my hips and I like my ass. You know, I don't aspire to be that. So I feel like it's unfortunate, but nowadays these models are not getting the same budgets as, you know, back in the day when things were whatever. They're not spending the same amount of money on people of color, and that's just facts. Like, you can easily look at it, you know, even like with the recent canceling of all these Black TV shows. I mean, Issa Rae said it herself. Like, they will literally try to manipulate the media to make us convinced that we aspire to be some sort of skinny doll with no personality. Don't stick up about any rights or anything. Just wear what they say is cute and do what they say, and that's modeling, and that's not giving.
Who said so?
You know?
And you know what a lot of people were saying was that you need to read in between the lines of what he was saying, because he didn't specifically point out women of color, but I think it's very clear, like, I just don't know what to make of it, because he said he doesn't like the diversity that Lululemon is trying to push, right? And I feel like, especially last year, like the BBL jacket trend, that was something that a lot of Black women gravitated towards and started wearing Lululemon and started popularizing the brand. So it's like, I feel like women of color are looking at that statement like, what do you mean by that?
It's so unfortunate. It's similar almost to like how brands are coming out with like curly hair products all of a sudden now. You know, there's a whole demographic that we're missing here because of our own prejudice. That's insane to me, you know? So it's unfortunate. A lot of people do not see the value in women of color, the intellectual value, and it's crazy because we will spend so much money on our appearance.
I know.
Which is so crazy.
And we are the reason why a lot of these brands are as popular as they are
100%
today.
100%. I feel
it's because we put it on.
Truly, to be a global sensation, to be a global brand, everybody needs to like you, you know? And a lot of brands that aspire to be these global change makers of the industry, whatever. But like, we're leaving out a whole demographic of people because of what? It's so silly.
It's very silly. How do you ensure that your business, you know, is inclusive and representative of diverse experiences, unlike Chip Wilson wants his business to do?
Well, I will say it starts internally with my team. Everyone on my team is a person of color, and it's always been that way. The people that I hire, models, and my actors, I mean, 95% of the people we hire are people of color. It starts at the root and the seed of things. And I feel like once you start there, like if Lululemon had a majority people of color team, that logic would not even be a thing and be entertained. Because a lot of times in corporate spaces, people are too scared to speak up to the CEOs and the heads of directors of marketing or whatever. They're afraid to say anything because they don't want to have consequence. But it's like, when you have everyone on your team that holds you accountable for the right decisions and choices, I think a lot of things get done differently. And also just not being afraid to see the dark side of an industry and being like, that's a problem, let me fix it. You know, I was only in my early 20s when I started my business, but I was like, why didn't any other models do this before? This was a huge issue. We were living in a Jim Crow world. We cannot even go to castings. Like,
that's sick.
They were literally telling us,
but it takes a lot of courage to do something like that, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of courage and a lot of just like believing that you can even make that difference. Because it's so hard sometimes. You feel like you're just one person. Like, what can I do? So how did you even get through those thoughts of like, well, you know, I don't feel like I can really do this?
For sure. And even sometimes I might even still have those. You know, I'm a human. But I will say that I always have to remind myself of my purpose. I really do feel like one night I was sitting there and God called me like, you need to help people. Like, it's so funny. A modeling career was not about me. And in modeling, models sometimes feel like, you know, everything is about me. The shoot is about me. Hair, makeup, like, let me look cute. But God gave me my gift and gave it to me to help other people and service others. And I remember my purpose. And when I want to quit, I think about all the people that need my help. Even if it's just, hey, go over there. And they just need a little bit of direction. Even if it's just that. Like, that fulfills me. And helping other people seriously fulfills me more than any modeling thing that I've done. Because a lot of modeling is just surface level. If I'm just there, I am not happy there. Like, I'm here. You know, I want to be with my people. So I think that just the service to others, that service, that feeling just keeps me connected to the purpose and keeps me connected to, okay, no, I've got to do this. And also when I see injustice, because representation is my form of justice too. It's my form of power. It's my form of, let me give these Black women some power, some justice.
It's one of the strongest forms of power.
Some money. Pay us properly. I'm charging high rates. Especially when you want to use us for diversity and Black History Month and Juneteenth and your initiatives and your collectives of things. No, we are seeking justice. I'm not just about taking photos. We're seeking justice here. And I think remembering that makes all the little, you know, hiccups along the way look like little, you know, like drops in the ocean. It's just nothing. Like, I got this, you know?
No, let me just say, as a dark-skinned Black model, I can't even tell you how gratifying it is to finally see a casting company that prioritizes Black and brown women, because I don't think people understand, like, representation is everything. Like, the narratives that are told in media, in film, in television, in fashion, these are the things that are shaping the narratives in people's minds. As 100%. Much as we don't want to believe it, that's the case. You know, it's like, as much as, you know, the content that we consume reflects reality and what is happening in the real world, it also shapes it. Like, what people think. So it's very important for the businesses, like the people who are guarding these gates, the people in power, to normalize and to facilitate the normalization of people of color just being in these industries in general.
Yes.
So
yes.
listen, please keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's everything.
Thank you.
Everything.
You know, the name collective casting, it's derived from, you know, collective consciousness, that oneness with the world and the globe, and seeing each other and being reflections of each other, and understanding and love. You know, it's all about that. And I think that if a lot of companies, like, they market that type of stuff, but if their values are truly there, like, so much change can happen, and it can really benefit so many people. You know, and really, that's like true change to me, is being accountable about something, creating the solution, and taking action and going for it.